Hey, welcome back to the Film School. I'm Joe.
And I'm Chris.
And we're going to take a deep dive here at Dr. Sleep.
This is a really special day for me.
Hey, man. Hey, you.
Even though I've made 2 Stephen King movies, I've never actually met Steve in person. He is my hero. He has been my hero since I was a kid.
Hello, Danny.
I loved The Shining. It completely changed the way I looked at the world. So when I found out that he was going to be publishing a sequel, I lost my mind. I read it in a day or two.
I always wondered what happened to Danny when he grew up. By taking Dan Torrance's story as a grown-up and filtering it through his own large heart, Mike has been able to take the Kubrick movie a step further.
My strategy was to honor what Kubrick did and to approach this like it is an authentic sequel to the film that he made, while also trying to honor themes from the novel of The Shining that didn't make it into the film.
The Shining is very much about alcoholism and addiction and not being in control of yourself. The Dr. Sleep novel and our script seems to be very much about recovery.
You still owe a debt, son. Pay it.
The only way to do the movie was through the novel. But the cinematic legacy of Stanley Kubrick is monolithic. And one of the things that's been the biggest honor for me in this is to try to pull those worlds together and to honor the story and the characters that you created so beautifully in the cinematic language that has become so iconic.
Mike's movie stands on its own, and it has its own excitement and its own rewards that it brings with it. It's a fine adaptation of Dr. Sleep, but it's also a terrific sequel to Stanley Kubrick's movie, The Shining. This is a movie you should see. I'm proud to be a part of it.
So right out of the bat, this is our second review of Dr. Sleep. We're going to do a spoiler-heavy one. So without any further ado, the spoiler wizard. Excellent. All right. So now that we've both seen this film, and we can finally talk about it, you go for it. Like, tell me what you thought.
I loved it. I thought it was great. I thought it was, I just loved how he incorporated Kubrick's masterpiece in with his film. You know, I thought it worked very well. And I loved Rose the Hat. I loved Rose the Hat. I thought she was so cool, dude. She was so cool.
It's probably the best role I've seen her play.
Oh.
Yeah. She really got to shine, so to speak.
She was
Honey.
And she was in the Mission Impossibles, right?
The last two, yeah.
Rebecca Ferguson.
Rogue Nation and Fallout.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was awesome.
Dude, how did it feel going back to the Overlook?
Oh, it was great.
I love how it has the shot of the little island in the water, like the very first shot of the opening credits to The Shining, how they went back to that. That was really nice. Did you notice that even though Mike Flanagan, it had his own style, that it also had a Kubrick-esque feel to it, like the use of dissolves and some similar shots, you know? Yeah, I thought he did an unbelievable job at both adapting the book and connecting it to Kubrick's movie.
Yeah. And did you notice that scene was when Ewan McGregor, it was after his first AA meeting or whatever, and he tells the doctor where his watch is.
Yeah.
And he goes into the office there. That's like the shot for shot, same shot as when Jack Nicholson interview with Kubrick. The same like color scheme of the office, same like placement. I mean, it was...
Yeah, it was awesome. By the way, did you notice? So one of the things that I loved about this film was going back to the Overlook and sort of seeing the way Dan handles himself in a similar situation as his dad, but without succumbing to the alcohol.
To the alcohol, right?
What did you think of? Did you know who played Jack in this one? Jack Torrance?
No.
That was Henry Thomas.
That was Henry.
from E.T.
What?
Yes.
Are you? No, I didn't know that.
It's fantastic,
That's
right?
crazy.
He did an amazing job because it wasn't an imitation, right? It's kind of like when people imitate, like, you know, Shatner or, you know, whoever. They always sort of emphasize that one, like, character trait. But no, this was a vocation, you know what I mean? It was like, I got the feeling that it was the same character, even though it wasn't.
Right.
It's the same actor.
Well, I mean, even down to the music, dude.
Yeah.
The Newton brothers did the music. I mean, that's Mike Flanagan's usual composers because they did the the Haunting of Hill House,
And Gerald's Game, right?
yeah, and you know, I got the soundtrack of the Waxworks did release the Haunting of Hill House.
Oh, okay.
I hope they do. I hope they do. Doctor
I was just
Sleep,
going to ask if you had already pre-ordered the soundtrack, but I guess
No,
not
I
yet.
haven't
But
heard
if they
yet.
do, this man is going to get... By the way, we are going to do a Chris here and I'll join, but I have a lot less than he does. So we're going to do an upcoming episode about Waxworks Records so we can show off some of the really killer soundtracks. Was there one for a repress of the original Shining?
No, and I actually read something about it. I guess they're having a hard time getting the rights to the music
Really?
for some reason. But it's like the original vinyl of The Shining's going for like $150 on eBay, and I'm just like, that's a little too much money for me. But
Yeah, that's pricey.
yeah,
You gotta really love it. I mean, well, I shouldn't say that, but I'm willing to bet they'll get a repressing on like 180 gram vinyl. You know, sound really nice and crisp. But yeah, this Ewan McGregor, fantastic. You know, he's only I think a couple of years older than Danny Lloyd, or the actor who played Danny Torrance.
yeah,
He's either a couple of years older or a couple of years younger, and I mean a couple, not a couple meaning 3 or 4. You know, like literally 2 years younger or older. So he's about the right age to play the role. You know?
he did a really good job.
He did.
He did, like,
Surprisingly, I think Ewan McGregor is kind of an underrated actor. He's in a lot of movies, but he's like Sam Rockwell. He's not a household name, not what
Right.
they would consider an A-lister. I think both Sam Rockwell and Ewan McGregor still have to do auditions, you know, which is too bad because I think they just keep proving themselves to be really talented. And Ewan McGregor did a fantastic job in this. The whole take your medicine scene in the hotel with his dad, just awesome and moving at the same time, right?
oh yeah, yeah,
So
the
good.
gold room, like they just that whole. I mean, production design down to the production design. I mean, they got it just like exactly like The Shining. I mean, it was
Almost. If you look at the comparisons, there are slight difference, but it's just slight. And I mean, it's just close enough. Like it really captures that same feeling that you got from the Kubrick movie. I do have to say though, when so what do they call themselves? The Shining Eaters. That group of people, they had a name for themselves, and I forget what it is. But so forgive. But when the giant Papa something or whatever, when he was
yeah,
dying,
right.
all I could think of was, oh, he's gone to the Black Lodge. He's the fireman now, just because it's the same guy from Twin Peaks, and he also played Lurch on the Addams Family movies, and he was in some episodes of Star Trek Next Gen.
okay.
But his name's Carl something or other. I can never forgive me. I can never remember his
He was
last
in
name.
Gerald's Game, and then
That's right.
the Haunting of Hill House.
I haven't watched that.
He was in that as well.
I haven't wanted to watch it because it doesn't seem like it's at all based on Shirley Jackson's novel, and I just get annoyed with that. But isn't Henry Thomas in that?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's also in Gerald's Game too. So yeah, and then Bruce Greenwood's in Gerald's Game and Dr. Sleep as well.
The only thing that bugged me in Haunting of Hill House is Henry Thomas's blue contacts. I mean, they're like, it's obvious. Like,
Why
his
does he
eyes
need
aren't
contacts?
blue. I don't know.
That's weird.
But it's just, yeah, it's a little distracting. But other than that, I liked it.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Robert Wise movie, The Haunting, which is not an extremely faithful adaptation of Shirley Jackson's novel, but probably the closest we've had. but that's a whole other story. And maybe next Halloween it'll wind up in a little Halloween-y episode or something. But anyways, going back to Dr. Sleep, yeah, I think it's a pretty worthy successor. I've been describing it as sort of, it is to The Shining what Blade Runner 2049 was to Blade Runner.
Yeah.
I think we're worthy sequels, not or T2 Trainspotting to Trainspotting, like almost on par. But because it's a sequel, it loses a little bit of that magic. The first ones are perfect, you know what I mean? They don't necessarily need sequels. So to do a sequel, it has to be really worthy, because I feel like it's not just a cash grab. Although Stephen King is still popular and relevant today, like he still has tons of movies and TV shows coming out along with books. So I think that's cool, because Stephen King rules. That's right. So yeah, what would you rate this then?
I would give it 3.5 out of 4.
That's what I give it, 3.5 out of 4, which I think is a very good rating. Because again, hard task to do, both a fairly faithful adaptation and a sequel to a movie that is not a very good adaptation.
Well, to stand up to Stanley Kubrick, I mean, that takes a lot of shoes to fill, man.
It's tough. And I think Mike Flanagan actually, I think Kubrick would have enjoyed this. I think he really, I don't know the man personally, I never knew him, but I would think that he would enjoy the film. I think it stands up to the original Kubrick film more so than, say, Peter Hyams' 2010, The Year We Made Contact, compared to 2001: A Space Odyssey. It's a good movie, but I wouldn't give it 3.5 stars. Just 3,
It was shot by his usual cinematography. Like, he shot, the Ouija Origins.
Ouija Origins?
And,
that's right, I forgot Mike Flanagan directed that.
And his name's Mike Finalgari or something like that, but he shot Gerald's Game, and he shot The Haunting of Hill House, and I guess he shot a couple episodes of The Walking Dead. And
oh, okay.
So
nice. Yeah, really good cinematography in this. A lot of nice use of overhead shots, which I always enjoy.
I love those overhead shots too.
I remember when I saw it with our mutual friend Keith, and when Rose the Hat and her gang feast on the little boy, it pissed me off. I leaned over to him and I'm like, these guys are a bunch of assholes. Like I just wanted somebody to punch them all in the face. That was actually a fairly
talk about the scene with the baseball kid.
Yeah, the baseball kid.
That scene was almost hard to watch.
Yeah,
dude.
it was disturbing.
It was disturbing. I was like, damn.
Yeah. Or when Rose gets her hand caught and starts to peel back the skin. We warned you with spoilers. It reminded me of that scene in Gerald's Game,
right,
where she's trying to get her hand out of the handcuff and it just nasty. And again, another observation: Mike Flanagan has to have somebody's skin getting peeled off with one of his movies, so which I'm fine with. That's a good trademark. John Woo has the doves. Hitchcock has his cameos, so why not, right?
Right.
I love this movie. I want to see it again.
Yeah, I loved it too. I thought it was great. A lot of good, sporting characters too.
Yeah.
What's his name? Cliff Curtis played
Billy,
his buddy.
Yeah,
AA buddy.
What's his name? Billy.
Yeah, he's always in.
Isn't he in Whale Rider? Oh, yeah, Fear the Walking Dead. Of course, I should have known that. I've seen his face. I haven't watched Fear the Walking Dead. Forgive. It's hard enough keeping up with The Walking Dead. So, but anyways, in a nutshell, if you get a chance to see this in the theater, I would recommend watching The Shining before going to see it. At least within a 24-hour period, maybe 5 days at the most, just so it's fresh, so you can see the comparisons. One last thing though, Carl Lumley as Dick O'Halloran.
Oh,
fantastic,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he did a great Scatman Crothers.
Yeah. He was perfect, and I love that guy, so it was perfect. The ending of the movie is a little bit different than the book, because in the book, Danny lives. He teaches Abra how to control the Shining, but then again, in the original Shining book, Dick O'Halloran lives, and he's teaching Danny how to suppress his Shining or lock up the ghosts.
Yeah.
And that was cool, too. all the scenes where he's locking up all the ghosts, you know, and then the whole, they're hungry.
What about when he lets them back
Yeah.
out when they go back into the Oroco?
I think almost everyone in the audience kind of let out a collective yes. We were all stoked on that because that's the thing about Rebecca Ferguson is she really made me want Rose the Hat to get devoured by other ghosts who feed off the same energy that she does. By the way, too, one of Stephen King's like only female protagonists or antagonists. So that was pretty cool. Yeah. She's a very interesting character. It'd be interesting to if he ever writes a story about their backstories, right, and how they came to be. But I digress. I would recommend going and seeing this in the theater. I would recommend watching the original film beforehand, and then do the comparisons.
Especially if you haven't seen The Shining, you need to watch The Shining before you go see this movie.
Or if you haven't seen The Shining in a very long time, it'll refresh your memory.
Sure.
And I think you will agree it's good and really good and a worthy sequel. And thanks for listening to us ramble on here. We'd just like to say we appreciate you viewing us and to like and subscribe. And I think that about does it for us.
So I was out of town. Mahalo. Fucking LJ. Anyway, we're giving away, it's the Criterion giveaway to our 100th subscriber.
Yeah, basically, we're going to be doing an episode coming up soon. We're going to go over some of the rules again here because things have changed a little bit. We're going to make this easier for everybody. We're coming up on 100 subscribers, so we're going to have a 100 subscriber giveaway where we're going to select, Chris and I are going to select a Criterion title for the person who wins. Not those, I'm sorry, we're not that wealthy, but for the person who wins, for the one.
One lucky winner.
There can be only one.
There can be only one.
So, here's how we do this. Once we hit 100 subscribers or more for at least a period of 10 days, we are going to do an episode where we announce this, and we would like to get those who watch us, who want to be entered into this, to like and comment, not like and or comment, but to like and comment on that video, in which case your name will be entered into a raffle where we will decide at random who gets the coveted Criterion selection.
I mean, when you like and comment, you can tell us we suck, you love us, whatever.
We're sexy, we've got style and charisma.
But fucking LJ, you messed up the drunk LJ.
So, way to go. So, if you end up being the winner, we will have to reach out and get your contact information. Of course, we'll cover shipping on this as well, but we'll need to know which format you prefer, DVD or Blu-ray. Sorry, no 4Ks and no bitching in the comments about it because Criterions are only DVD and Blu-ray. So we will find a really good movie to send to you.
We will hand-pick it ourselves.
Yes, and there will be much debate.
We'll pick a good one.
This is going to take some time. This isn't like we're just going to go and grab the first thing on the shelf. Do you know how long it takes for me to just shop during the Criterion sale and find a single movie or two? And it's never just one. Every time I go in, it's just to get one movie, and I walk out with several because it's Criterion, man. Love it. So right now, and this also ties into the current Criterion Collection sale going on at B&N. We're not gonna promote anybody, but we're just saying. So if you're a cinephile, if you like to just collect, now's a good time to do it. More bang for your buck. But thanks for tuning in, and we hope you come on back.
Yes, please do.
We'll catch you on the next episode.
Sorry.
No, you're not. You were drunk.